Over 20 years ago, Toyota was one of the first brands to introduce an electrified option, and that vehicle was called the Prius. Now, one category that the company has been kind of slow to adopt are full battery electric vehicles. And today, I'm at Toyota's headquarters in Plano, Texas, with this model here. This is the bZ4X concept, an all-new electric production SUV that will be coming to America in mid-2022. So, let's take a first look. Now, the bZ4X is still technically a concept car, and if you're wondering where the heck does the name bZ come from, bZ stands for Beyond Zero. It's a new electric sub-brand that Toyota is basically patenting as we speak, because this is going to represent a new family of full battery electric vehicles. Toyota is committed to being carbon neutral by 2030, and this is going to be the start of it. Now, let's look at the styling of the bZ, because this is basically a hand-built prototype, so I can't talk too much about actually the build quality and all that other stuff, but the vehicle's design definitely is very different. In fact, you can see, just like a lot of other electric cars, it doesn't really need a grille for cooling, so the front end is all, of course, very smooth, very sculpted. You have these LED headlights, which kind of remind me a little bit of the headlights you might find on like a Supra with these individual LED diodes. You have some vents here, I'm not entirely sure if they're functional, and you have this very interesting, distinctive LED daytime running light, which should also be an LED turn signal. Remember, this is a concept car, so we may see some of this change. Toyota says that they have a full production version of the car being unveiled toward the end of the year, because this is going to be a mid-2022 model year when it does go on sale in America. Now, Toyota says that this is roughly the same size as a RAV4, which means it's probably going to be around 180 inches long. This is going to compete with cars like the Ford Mustang Mach-E, a Tesla Model Y. This is, of course, going to compete, of course, with the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6. This is a new class of vehicle that is really going to be getting hot in the next couple of years. Now, this concept car has these 20-inch wheels, which look pretty good. I think they're wrapped in 235 with tires. Remember, this could all change for the full-on production version of this car. It looks like there could be a charge port on this side, but I did see a door on the other side as well. I can't actually open this right now because, remember, this is a hand-built prototype, so I'm not going to mess around too much with it. From this profile here, it kind of reminds me of the current generation RAV4, from like the front fender all the way up to this angle here. The door handles even look like they come off of a RAV4, so that's an interesting design element. And like a lot of other Toyota vehicles, you have this kind of black painted contrasting roof, which this one here has kind of like the glass roof option. That's a really popular feature with a lot of electric cars. Over at the rear of the vehicle, you can see the design looks equally interesting. In fact, some of you may think it looks kind of like a Prius crossover. You have these full-length LED taillights with this interesting design, which is kind of a little bit Lexus-like. There are some fake vents over here. You can see the badge here, bZ4X. It's a really odd name. I'm really hoping that Toyota comes up with a name that rolls off the tongue a little bit easier. One of the journalists at this program actually said it sounds like a fax machine, which I don't disagree. It's a really odd name. Down here you can see there are some black painted, or looks like gray painted accents here. Of course, no visible exhaust tips, and I can't show you what's underneath the rear cargo area because this does not open. It's an early prototype model, but I do want to show you guys the interior because Toyota said that I can show you that very quick. Now, because this is a hand-built prototype, I can't actually sit inside here, but I can show you the interior because this interior definitely is a lot different versus every other Toyota product. The dashboard design is completely unique. You have an all-new infotainment system here. You can see Toyota is working on a completely redesigned infotainment system. That screen size looks like it's almost 15 inches. It's a widescreen display. Again, this is all still kind of in beta. Toyota will be showing us their new interface later on at this program, which I'm hoping I can do a separate video. There's also a separate screen here that shows you, it looks like a digital readout of your speed. The graphics here do look a little bit old, so maybe Toyota is still kind of fine-tuning this. It definitely puts it right in your line of sight. Over here you can see this appears to be some kind of sensor that watches your attention, so it's maybe a driver attention monitor. The steering wheel also looks like it is a newer design with a lot of new Toyota switchgear. The dash even kind of has this like fabric material. It's really interesting looking. You do kind of get a feeling in here that it does feel roomy, and it does also look like it appears to sit up high. The seats look like they come right out of a RAV4, and you can see above me, the sunroof here actually has a little area that kind of cuts it, so it's not one big continuous glass piece, which kind of disappoints me. But again, this is a concept car, so it's all about the fine tuning, and we should see some of this stuff change when the full production model comes out. Now, I do want to show you guys the back seat really quick. And again, I can't sit in the back seat, but if you look at the actual legroom back here, this is a completely new, skateboard battery architecture that is going to be underpinning a lot of vehicles. There is a flat floor here. Toyota did put some heated back seats on this concept car, and there's also 2 USB ports, rear seat vents, mat pockets, and the seat legroom actually looks like it's pretty comparable to the current generation RAV4. So this is going to deliver a lot of space and convenience and tech that a lot of these buyers are looking for in this compact electric SUV space. Now over on this side, you'll find the charge port door, and like so many other electric vehicles, you can see there's the J1772 plug, and then below it you have the DC fast charger. Now I know a lot of you are probably wondering, well, what are the specs for this vehicle, because it is a battery electric car. Toyota unfortunately did not have those specs available right now. We're going to know that as we get closer to the on sale date. However, they did say that this vehicle will come standard with all-wheel drive, which means it should probably come with dual electric motors, one at the front axle, one at the rear. That's how you get all-wheel drive. We don't know yet the battery capacity. We don't know yet how fast this vehicle will be capable of charging on a DC fast charger. And we don't know how much horsepower and torque it's going to have. We don't have any performance specs yet. So for Toyota to be competitive in this space, most competitors are offering around 300 miles of range. I'm hoping Toyota is going to be targeting that. And most competitors are doing around 0 to 60 in the mid 5-second range for something like the all-wheel drive version. So we don't technically know all that stuff yet, but of course we can speculate. So I'm hoping Toyota will at least match what the competitors are doing. We should all, of course, have all that information as we get closer to that. Now, speaking of which, like I mentioned earlier, Toyota will be showing a full production spec version of this car toward the end of the year, with sales or delivery starting in mid-2022. And we don't know pricing just yet, but I'm gonna estimate if Toyota wants to be competitive, they're gonna have to sell this car for the high $30,000 range, maybe topping out around $50,000. And remember, Toyota is still going to most likely qualify for the full $7,500 tax credit whenever this vehicle and so many others in this bZ family go on sale. For Redline Reviews here at Toyota's headquarters in Plano, Texas, I'm Sofyan Bey.